Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into today's episode. Today's Thursday. We got another juicy episode for you. We got our book for today. Super excited about that. I know that you guys are too, but you know what we have. Before we get into today's book, is our thread. And our thread today is, what's the most unhinged thing you've done after a breakup? All right, so let's see what unhinged things you guys have done after a breakup. So, what unhinged thing did you do after a breakup? Got drunk at a wedding in her town a few months later and woke up the next morning back in her bed. Yo, hold up. How did that happen, fam? Okay. So I guess it was one of those things where it's like y'all broke up. Man's got drunk. He got all like lovey sappy, I don't know. And she was just like, this is what I've been looking for. Okay, damn. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you've done after a breakup? Went to Bakersfield, California for a vacation. I just wanted to go somewhere. There was no chance of me running into anyone I know and just chill for a few days. Yeah, but bro, there's nothing in Bakersfield. There's absolutely nothing out there. Why didn't you go to like San Francisco or go to Vegas? You know what I mean? Like there's so many better places you could have gone to in shorter time. And this man was just like, yeah, I'm just going to go to the most boringest fucking place in the world. Look up Bakersfield. Trust me. Look it up. There ain't shit to do there. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm like, why? Why would you go where there's nothing there? But maybe that's what he wanted. I don't know. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you've done during a breakup? Not something I did per se, but something my body did to me. I was sick for like 6 months. A year after my high school boyfriend dumped me, my body reacted really physically, not to the stress, physically to the stress. I would throw up every meal, not because I wanted to or because I was forcing myself to. I just couldn't hold anything down. I would eat lunch and just automatically hit the bathroom 10 minutes later and wait because I knew it was coming. Wow. This was such an awful time in my life. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Bro, that sucks. Man, that's got to be the worst thing. Like, just imagine, you're like so distraught. Like, you're already sad and upset. You know what I mean? That, like, you got dumped and broken up with. Then on top of that, now you can't eat anything. You can't keep anything down. You're just, like, constantly sick. And she was sad for a year. Like, bruh, a year? Oh my God. No, man. No way. Oh, that's got to be horrible. All right, what is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? He always did this thing where he'd take the last granola bar and leave an empty box in the pantry. So I emptied out every single thing in the pantry and fridge and left the empty containers, down to the spices and flour bags. Eat shit, Brandon. I also put glitter on his ceiling fans. Yo! Yo, she's a menace, bro. What did Brandon do? What did this man do to deserve this? Because I can't tell you. Like, he had to have cheated on her, bro. He had to have, like, I don't know, kissed her friend or something. He had to have done something extremely bad for her to be that petty. That is pettiness level, like, to the highest degree. She was like, here's petty, and then here's me. You know what I mean? Like, bruh, that's crazy. The whole glitter on the ceiling fans is crazy, though. Oh, my God. Imagine it's a hot, crisp day. You just get home, and you're just like, oh, fuck, it's hot. We turn that fan on, boom, and it's just boom, just fucking glitter everywhere. And that he'll never get that cleaned up. Never. There'll always be glitter somewhere. Somewhere. Oh, bruh. I guess moral of the story is if you ever want to get back at somebody, put glitter on their ceiling fans. Because, dude, you'll never, and I mean ever, get that out. Oh, God, that's crazy. All right. I guess fuck you, Brandon. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Not exactly unhinged, but I was planning on treating him and his younger brother to the movies when he broke up with me by text. I literally glazed the text and left my house and drove myself to the movies and saw the movie by myself. I then sat in the car and cried. Aw. Damn, that sucks. Dude. I mean, at least he didn't wait until you drove all the way there, or at least he didn't like make you pay for this whole, like outing and then break up with you. At least he didn't do that. Let's try to find a little bit of a silver lining in it. Shit. Because he totally could have did that. He totally could have just been like, yeah, I'm going to just let her pay for this movie, take me out and do all this stuff, and then I'll break up with her. All right, what is the most unhinged thing you've done after a breakup? Well, reading... Oh, hold on. No. Okay, cut off my afro. Got a zero cut up all the way back on the sides and left a little on the top. Rocked that for a few years until my barber, whose salon looked after my mom and sister, referred it to... as the clit cut. Okay. Mom had told me, or had told him she thought I looked like a clitoris. That's crazy work. Grew the curls back out after that, bro. That's fucked up. I get it, getting a haircut, changing your hairstyle and all that stuff, after a breakup or whatnot. But damn, man, for your barber to do you that dirty is crazy work. He was just like, I got you, bro. Got you. We're going to change you up. The look, all that good stuff. He was like, you're going to look great. It's going to look fantastic. Then he got too far into it and was like, oh, shit. You know what I think really happened? Is I think he fucked up his cut. That's what I think really happened. I think he fucked up his haircut and was just like, we'll just cut it all off. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I think he fucked it up. Damn. But, shit. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? I didn't key his car or anything, but I did aggressively heal. I blocked him everywhere, went to the gym like it was my job, got bangs, started therapy, and became so mentally and physically stable that if he saw me now, he'd probably think I was doing it out of spite. Hey, honestly, I be telling girls that all the time. I'm like, yo, the best way for a guy or a girl to get back at their ex, bro, is to just come out that bitch looking banging. You know what I mean? Like, I tell girls that all the time, like, yo, go to the gym, lose a little that tummy fat, get that ass fat, and I swear to Bob, you're gonna realize how quick you don't really give a fuck about that dude anymore. You're gonna learn that shit nice and quick. You're gonna just be like, damn, oh shit, I got it like that. I am her. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, bro. I be telling that all the time. Same thing with the dudes. I be telling the dudes the same thing. I'm like, bro, get in the gym, son. You know what I mean? Hit that shit hard. You know what I mean? Pack you on some muscle, man. And before you know it, you're going to be like, oh, baby, I'm out here feeling myself. So, yeah, man, that is the best revenge possible. The best revenge. Definitely. All right, what is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Sorry. I was sober and started drinking. I drank everything in the house, then moved out and just drank. It's 2 years later, and I think it's time to go sober again. It's been long enough, bro. See, that's the polar opposite of what we were just talking about. Man, yeah, dude. Man, you got it. You can't You can't let yourself get deep into that stuff, bro, because all it's going to do is fuck you up in the end. And I mean, all it's going to do is fuck you up in the end, my guy. Yeah, dude. That is terrible. That is terrible. And as someone who has, dealt with like the horribleness of alcohol, I can tell you, it is not fun. It is not fun. That is something that it's like, it gets to a point where, me and Michael talked about this on a Sunday episode, and we were like, you never really know that you're an alcoholic. You think like, oh, I'm just a social drinker. Oh, no, I have one or two here and there. Nah, you're an alcoholic. You know what I mean? And you don't realize that you're an alcoholic until like somebody either tells you, or you kind of come to this fucking realization of like, holy shit, yeah, I am an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Like that shit sucks, dude. That shit sucks. Hopefully that dude, finds his way. You know what I mean? Okay. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? I threw our engagement ring into a canal rather than, selling it and buying myself something nice. Ooh. 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 Dude, I feel that, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel that because my ex-fiance, she gave back, her rings. And that, for me, was like the biggest gut punch ever, especially to a man. To a man, the ring is like, you giving back the ring is like the biggest gut. We rather you keep it. Being honest with you, we rather you keep it. We understand why you're returning it. We understand why you're doing it, but it is the biggest gut punch. It's just that like final straw of like, it's over. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie to you. I think I still have those rings. They're probably like locked away somewhere under some shit, because I couldn't bear to look at them. I remember seeing them one time when I had first like moved out of her nice place, and then I saw them and I was just like, oh dude, I cried for like a week, son. Oh, it was bad. I was just like, dude, I didn't do anything rash with them. I just kind of put them in a little baggie, and I just threw him under a bunch of crap, and I never saw him again, man. Oh, dude, I feel you, brother. I feel you. I know what that's like. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Ex-wife cheated for 2 years with my best friend. Oh, bruh. Oh, that's all bad. Married almost 30 years, and then started saying I should go and have experiences myself, trying to absolve herself. I don't think she thought I could pull, as I never stayed or even expressed interest in anyone else during our entire marriage. So on our wedding anniversary, month and a half after the affair comes out, and sick of her almost gloating, I'm sure he meant gloating, me into sowing my own wild oats, thinking I had no game. I asked her if she was really sure this is what she wanted, and she said yeah, gave me a pass. The next night, my friends were having a party, and I made sure a woman from that group, who I had felt a mutual vibe with but never expressed or acted on because I was married, was going. My friends had told her that me and my wife had split, and she said she was keen. Oh shit. She was like, now is my cue. She turned up, and I had a wonderful time with her, with lots of intimacy, affection, along with the sex. Oh baby. Second only woman I had ever slept with. Turned out my wife wasn't so immune to jealousy when I was out playing instead of her. Oh, yeah. Hey, man, sometimes be careful what you wish for. You know what I mean? Sometimes be careful what you wish for, because you never know how you feel about it when you actually get it. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that they can handle certain situations. A lot of people think that they understand, the ramifications of what is about to happen, or what they agree to, or what they're okay with, until it actually happens. And then they're like, oh shit. I don't think I can handle this. No, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? Oh, dude. And hey, he was just like, okay. You know, if this is what we gonna do, honestly, I don't even know why, because they did a thing where, you know, they just did like a hall pass. So she was just like, oh, you know, okay, you can go sleep with another girl to like make it even. Nah, man, I would have just left. I'd have started a life with this girl and been like, piece of chicken grease, biatch. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I'm like, forget that. Forget making up with your bitch ass. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Burned every bridge I had with family, friends, coworkers, etc. Afterward, I packed my shit, got in my truck, and just drove, man. Damn. I wonder where he drove to. Because, honestly, if I'm being honest with you, I could never, like, fathom just picking up my life and just driving it away. You know, like there are times where I'll hear people's stories and I'll hear people talk about their lives or whatever and stuff like that. And, you know, they'll talk about how they just like picked up their life and just ski on daddled. And for me, I'm like, dude, I couldn't fathom doing that. You know what I mean? I couldn't fathom. I'd be like sitting there thinking to myself, how would I do that? You know what I mean? Where would I go? What would life look like? I don't know. I'm the type of person that kind of worries too much about the future kind of thing. You know, I like to have plans and I like to have things, you know, structured and set up in a way where it's like, okay, cool, this all makes all sense to me. But, you know, just like uprooting your life and just picking it up and just boom, I can't do that. I cannot do that. I don't know how people do that, though. I really don't. That is something that is crazy to me that I've always thought was like really wild. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Once I found out my ex was cheating on me with her married coworker, I told her that if her new boyfriend didn't tell his pregnant wife that they'd been hooking up, she claimed he told her, and I knew she was lying. I reached out to the wife. She had no idea and immediately kicked her husband out of the house. Yo! The fact that she is pregnant with his baby and cheating on him is wild. Okay, usually it's the husband that cheats when the wife is pregnant. But the wife is cheating while she's pregnant? Bruh. That was definitely something I was not expecting. That was definitely a plot twist I was not expecting. Wow. Because, bruh, what are you doing? You got another man's baby inside of you, and you over here taking another man's wiener inside of you. Crazy, man. What the hell is going on here? Dude. Wow. Honestly, just wow. All right. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Not unhinged, more cringy. You know the song Heartbeat from Childish Gambino. I hang up the phone after a breakup with my last word, I wish we never fucked, and I mean that. As a German speaker, it still shivers. Okay. All right. I mean, hey, you know, I wouldn't say it was kind of like cringy, but sure. I mean, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where, like, when you're in a breakup, your emotions are flying crazy high. You know what I mean? So you're just saying anything. You're just saying whatever first thing comes to your mind. You're just saying whatever just pops into your head. You're just like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I've said a lot of cringy fucking shit after breakups. I ain't gonna lie to you. Or I've done cringy things. You know, the whole like back when, you know, Facebook was popping and those little motivational quotes. You know, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I used to post those fucking shits all the time. It was so fucking cringy, dude. It was so bad. Oh my goodness. All my friends were just like, oh, come on, bruh. You know what I mean? They were just like, oh, look at this dude. It was bad, bro. It was bad. Oh, shit, bro. All right. Let's see here. We're going to do 2 more and then we'll end today's thread. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done while after a breakup. Laying on my floor the entire day, she was my first ever love, and our official breakup was her calling me she had slept with someone else. After bawling my eyes out for a very long time, I crawled into bed. Over the next few months, I leaned ever more heavier in alcoholism until my life was completely destroyed, dude. I hope you're doing better now, man. I hope you're doing better now. What I've noticed is like a lot of guys fall into the whole like I lost my first love thing so much later in life, and then it's far more destructive. You know what I mean? Like me, I was glad that I got the whole first love thing out of the way, like in middle school. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh my God, this is my first girlfriend and I love her and she's the greatest thing in the entire world, you know, since fucking sliced bread. And so when when we broke up and she inevitably was just like, I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. I'm like, all right, well, that sucks. And I was, just a super sad fucking 13-year-old or 12-year-old or whatever. I'm sitting there just crying, listening to fucking like emo music and shit. It's like, I'm so glad I got out of that, or I got that over with, and I didn't deal with that like in my early 20s or like late teens, because you guys have access to fucking drugs and alcohol and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's like that whole first love breakup obviously hits that person a lot harder. And it's like, depending on like where you're at in life and what accesses you have to certain things, it's like your life could really get fucked up and quick. You know what I mean? Like, bruh, it is bad. That's why I try to like look at such a positive spin on a lot of things, where it's just like, hey, look, if you do go into a breakup, it's like your best option is to just like change your life for the better, get into the gym, stay focused. Like, you know what I mean? Just like try to go the positive route, because bro, it is so easy to just be like, fuck it, I'm doing drugs, or fuck it, I'm drinking myself to death. You know what I mean? Dude, hopefully that guy is doing better, man. Because I know how that can be. Okay, this will be our last one. What is the most unhinged thing that you have done after a breakup? Purchased a round the world plane ticket, leaving in 2 weeks time, and went for a wander for 18 months after a couple of very questionable relationship choices. Best thing I've ever done. Saw the most beautiful places, met wonderful people, and learned a lot about myself and what I wanted. Would highly recommend if you can do it. Hey man, not everybody can do that, bro. Like not everybody can do that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, if I could do some shit like that, I probably would have already done it. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? But then I don't think the podcast would exist. So, you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys are glad that that I didn't do that, because you guys have the podcast now. You know what I mean? But hey, I that's one way. My thing is whatever like positive thing that you can do after a crazy breakup, I think that's for the better. Now, I wouldn't really look at this as a positive, just because it's like, I feel like bro went into mad amounts of debt to do this, but hey, to each its own, do your thing. I think it's better than, drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff, or, falling into some crazy shit, some crazy people. So, you know what I mean? I'll still give it to him as a W, but yeah, man. The reason I didn't do it was because I knew if I would have done something like that, I would just be in mass amounts of debt. You know what I mean? And it was just like, why would I want to do that to myself? You know what I mean? So, oh man, but that's going to be the end of that thread. Hope you guys enjoyed that thread. I know that I did. That was a pretty juicy thread. You guys have done some pretty unhinged things out there after breakups, but if I'm being honest with you, who hasn't? And if you're willing to share what unhinged thing you've done after a breakup, definitely put it down in the comments. All right, we'll hop to announcements, and then we'll get right on into our book. Patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show. Audio listeners, thank you guys so much for all of your beautiful support. Downloads have been through the roof, and I appreciate that so very much. rate us 5 stars on your preferred platform. And if you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube. We have been moving and grooving through the YouTube subscriptions. I appreciate that so very much. To be close to 2,500 subscribers is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I really appreciate that so very much. You guys are the GOATs. I appreciate all the support that you guys show. I can't wait. We are ever so close to YouTube monetization, and when we can do that, I'll be able to do memberships and exclusive content and stuff like that over there, and we'll move everything from Patreon over to that membership, and that way you guys will have easier access to things. All right. Without further ado, though, let's get right on into the book. I know that you guys are itching for the book. I am too a little bit, so let's get on into it.
8. Dahlia. After what I went through, I should have buried my face under the covers and hid there the rest of the night. And I tried that. Thankfully, when I got back at 1 a.m, Megan wasn't home yet. It's not unusual for her to spend the night with her friends or just stay out partying. I had a shower in which I scrubbed my skin until it turned red, then slipped under the duvet on my stomach because my ass burns with every move. Whenever I close my eyes, images of my parents' accident and the rough, merciless sex invade my head. Shame and disgust prickle my skin with renewed intensity, so I jump back into the shower. Under the scalding hot water, I rub my skin with enough force that new bruises join the existing sex bruises. How the hell did I come by being used like that? By that demon? Am I sick? Part of me wants to hate it to its core, consider it assault even if I agreed to it. That part, probably some form of defense mechanism, whispers that I wasn't given a choice, that I only did it because I couldn't say no. But I could have. Cain gave me every chance to say that godforsaken red, but I refused. My head hurts long after I leave the shower, wrapped in a towel. I lie on my stomach on the bed and grab my phone that was returned to me on my way out of that damned building. Instagram is open, specifically my last DM exchange with Cain, when I expected him to meet me by the entrance. And even though I didn't think he'd help me, I also didn't think he'd use me in that sense. Though it's useless to feel wronged or attempt to feel victimized, not when I was offered a way out countless times, but still went with it anyway. I click on his profile and narrow my eyes at the caption. Vipers, Center, and Captain. More like a two-faced devil. I studied Cain's Instagram page like an essay during my stalking stage, but now I look at it through a different lens. It's hockey-themed and full of shots from games and practice, as well as pictures with teammates, the coach, some professors, and fans. There are others at fundraising events with the university's top brass and the Vipers' donors, the big names in town. His family, the Callahans, the Armstrongs, and the Osborns. But those are few and far between, as if he doesn't want his background to be the main focus. He looks perfectly cordial in all of them. No signs that suggest he's faking it or building an image. His smiles give off a genuine, charming vibe, like he'd be great fun to talk to. It isn't until now that I realize those smiles never reach his icy eyes. Not really. They look beautiful because of the color, but that doesn't mean they smile with the rest of his face. Maybe it's because I already met the other side of him, but the veil has been lifted, and I realize that the random, sometimes uncoordinated pictures are just a game he plays so well. Like the perfect disguise he hides behind. And now that my fate is tied to his in Vencor, I need to figure him out. Somehow. I need to get closer, any way possible. I go back to our conversations. Dahlia. Better test for that STD I gave you tonight. Smiley face. What? That should get his attention. I guess my only consolation about the whole fucking raw part is that Cain and his teammates tested negative on their latest medical tests. I know because I accessed their reports behind my professor's back. My heart jumps when his reply comes immediately.
Cain. Very funny.
Dahlia. I wasn't joking.
You must be. Because your cunt felt like it hadn't swallowed a dick in a long time. Almost like a virgin.
My cheeks heat, but I double down. And you fuck a lot of virgins?
No, not a fan.
Thank God. No virgin should suffer your vicious way of having sex.
Was it also suffering when you squirted all over my dick?
I rub my thighs together, but type the entire opposite. Uh-huh. Worst sex of my life.
Doubt it. You were swallowing my cock so deep. Almost as if you couldn't get enough.
No, I wasn't. Anyway, I'm just telling you. Chlamydia is nasty.
I'll take your word for it.
You'll suffer like a motherfucker.
Go to sleep, Dahlia.
I try to think of other insults, but I'm too agitated, so I throw the phone on the bed. The necklace shines under the light, and I grab the silver talon between my fingers, staring at the hideous serpentine chain. Doesn't matter. The discomfort and shame will fade away. The most important thing is that I'm in. Sooner or later, I'll be able to identify Vi's attacker. Violet. The urge to see her beats beneath my skin like a ticking time bomb. I change into jeans and a t-shirt, then throw on a sweater before I head out of the dorm. I ride my bike to town. Greystone General Hospital is huge and renowned for having large departments that benefit from the founding family's extensive funding. It's also the prime beneficiary of Greystone Hope Foundation, which finances countless expensive surgeries throughout the year. It's the foundation that offered me the scholarship at GU and is paying for Violet's medical expenses and her stay in the hospital. 45 days ago, my sister was driven by a black van with a fake plate to the hospital in Stantonville, where we used to live. A man whose face was entirely hidden dropped her on a gurney and sped away in the van before he could be identified. My sister was unconscious and had a wound at the back of her head and multiple less serious injuries all over her body. They transferred her to Greystone General Hospital because it's bigger and has a trauma center. Since then, she's been in a coma for a month and a half. I've seen the bills she's incurred during her stay, bills I wouldn't be able to afford even if I sold myself for parts on the black market. So I'm thankful beyond words to the foundation. I don't even mind taking pictures with them and accepting charity money. I don't care if it's the rich people's way to avoid taxes. At least they're paying for the tube that's literally keeping my only lifeline breathing. I lost my parents, but I'll never lose Vi, not even if I have to offer my soul to the devil. I take the elevator to the 5th floor where they keep comatose patients. I greet the night shift nurses. They've seen me practically daily since Vi was admitted. The head nurse, Mrs. Hales, a plump blonde with rosy cheeks, smiles at me and then frowns. "Dahlia, honey, you look pale. Have you forgotten to eat again?" "I'm fine. How's Violet?" "Worry about yourself first." She rummages through the desk and then produces a protein bar. "Eat this before you faint." "Thanks." I accept the bar sheepishly because she's right. I've been surviving on the tuna sandwich I had for lunch yesterday. Violet shares a room with a young man who has dark olive skin and thick eyebrows. His name is Mario, and he had an accident shortly after Violet was attacked. They were both in the ICU for a bit, and now they still share a space because the hospital could move either of them to single rooms due to a lack of capacity. I don't mind since they have a curtain separating them, so their privacy is respected when the nurses tend to them. Mario, however, doesn't get any visitors. At least, I haven't seen anyone come to visit him for the duration of the time I've been here. Though I do find baskets of fruit on the table beside his bed sometimes, and Mrs. Hales often tells me to eat them since they'll rot and be thrown out. Since Mario must feel lonely, I talk to him sometimes as well, mostly about the day's news or random anecdotes. I don't want to imagine what Vi would feel like if I stopped visiting her. Putting on my most cheerful smile, I push the door open. "Vi! I'm so excited to have full-range access to the lab as an upperclassman." My words halt at the view of a tall shadow standing by Violet's bed. He's smothered by the dark and a hoodie covers his head and face, I barely get a glimpse of him and scream. He sprints to the window, forces it open, and jumps out. I dash toward Violet as footsteps rush in from the hallway. Thankfully, she's still sleeping peacefully, and the machine by the side of her bed beeps in a slightly high but mostly regular rhythm. I still grab her pale hand and check her pulse just in case. "What's going on?" A nurse peeks in, her cheeks red. "Someone was in this room." I motion at the window. "They jumped out the window." "Impossible. They'd die from this height." "It's true." The nurse looks at me as if I'm out of my mind, then goes over and looks outside. "There's nothing." "I know what I saw. Please check the security footage." Her frown deepens as she slams the window shut and walks out. My heart thumps loudly, even as I feel my sister's steady beat beneath my fingers. I throw a glance at Mario and release a breath when I find he's also peacefully sleeping. Just to be sure, I leave Vi's side and peer out the window. All I see are cars speeding down the road below. But I couldn't have been mistaken. Someone was here, and if I hadn't come in time, who knows what they would have done to Vi. My blood turns cold. Wait. It couldn't have been whoever hurt her coming to finish what he started, right? I rush back to my sister's side. She'd look like an angel while sleeping if it weren't for her sickly white skin that's paler than the sheets. Her hair, which used to be a shiny strawberry blonde, is now dull and lifeless as it frames her petite face. Violet has always been a beauty whom everyone stopped and stared at, flirted with, tried to take advantage of. Her now closed eyes are actually a deep denim blue. Her facial features are petite and perfectly harmonized. She even has a dusting of freckles on her nose. She often dressed like a hobo, never putting on makeup and even wearing thick-framed non-prescription glasses so as not to be noticed. I can't say that helped, because she often suffered malicious male gazes. The thought that one of them could have done something to her just now forms a knot in my heart. Ever since I became an adult, I've made it my mission to protect her just like she protected me when we were young. For some reason, men are not as attracted to me as they are to her. I mean, I get looks, but they're not like the ones she gets. As if she's blood and they're vampires who want to suck her dry. As soon as they see me, and usually some of my pepper spray, tasers, or the landlord's guns that I clean as a side gig, they fuck off. But I couldn't protect her this time. This time, one of them got to her first. I hug her, my head pressing against her chest as tears blur my eyes. "You said you'd never leave me alone, Vi. You promised." The words constrict my throat, and I tremble all over, like the day she ushered me out of bed and helped me put my shoes on. She was also shaking as we hid by the corner. She was 13. I was 12. "Do you trust me?" Violet once asked me in the darkness of the room where we shared a bunk bed. I nodded. Living in the system since I was 6, I learned not to trust anyone. But Violet is different. Some kids hate it when they have a foster sibling. They despise having less food to go around and sleeping in bunk beds. They can get malicious and even violent. Not Violet. Ever since I arrived at this house in the New Jersey suburbs a year ago, she's shared her food and her hiding nook in the closet. When I got here, Violet had been with Martha and Gerald, our foster parents, who only used the system for extra income for 6 months. Violet has often said we need to get out of here. One night, Martha called her a whore who was trying to seduce her husband. I called Martha a bitch and her husband a creep because he was the one looking at Violet while licking his lips when she was wearing plain cotton pajamas. Vi never dresses in a revealing way. Like never. She's been growing breasts and hips and getting curvier over the past year, and that creep Gerald can't take his sleazy eyes off of her. Another day, Martha beat me up for talking back until she busted my lip open. Violet apologized on my behalf, promising I wouldn't do it again. Vi apologizes a lot. She also stands with her head bowed, listening to Martha calling her an ugly whore, just like her slut of a mother, and telling her she should be thankful that they took her in, or she would have died on the side of the road like her drug addict mama. Violet always swallows the knife with its blood and buries her wounds deep. She never complains or causes trouble and prefers to suffer in silence. It wasn't until recently that I found out Gerald touches her inappropriately, letting his hands wander and linger where they shouldn't. To avoid conflict, she chooses to remain silent instead of speaking up, but she always speaks up when it comes to me. She always tries to rectify the situation and shield me under her wings. She always says I need to be careful with my spicy mouth, but I'm nowhere near as patient as she is and get easily wound up. I'd rather be beaten up and spend nights without any food and thrown in the attic than let Martha and Gerald get away with their shit. Which is why Martha beat me the hell up earlier tonight. I clawed at her face, and when Gerald pretended to break up the fight, I kicked him in the nuts. He punched me so hard, I lost consciousness. When I came to, I found myself locked in the attic. It's a dark, airless box, and the only light is the white street lamp's shadow slipping through a narrow, dust-coated window high on the wall. The wooden beams above are splintered and warped, cobwebs clinging to them like silent witnesses to the hours I've spent here. The stale smell of mildew and trapped heat sticks to my skin as I pull my knees to my chest and rest my head on them. I stare at the light dusting of snow falling and landing on the windowsill. Right. It's going to be Christmas soon. I hate the holiday season. Ever since my parents died and I became an orphan, it feels like a needle stabbing an old wound, undoing the stitches and making me remember what I lost. The floorboards creak under a hesitant step. I perk up as a key jiggles in the lock, and then the door opens. Violet. She always steals the keys when they're asleep and brings me a sandwich. Usually, she'll hug me and tell me to stop rebelling so I won't get hurt again. This time is different. She's dressed in leggings and a coat with a duffel bag slung over her shoulder. But that's not what makes me jump up and run to her. It's the black bruise around her left eye. Big, ugly, and so swollen she can barely open it. Vi, what happened? That looks bad. She strokes my face. You have a blue bruise too. I'm gonna kill them. She smiles, and it's the whitest, most genuine smile I've ever seen on her face. Want to get out of here, doll? Just you and me? It's been some time since we both wanted to get the hell out. Tonight is as good as any. I nod, inspecting her face. The bruise looks worse up close, and there's a small cut on her lower lip. Who did this? It was that asshole Gerald, wasn't it? Forget it. I'm fine. She caresses my cheek, and I wince at the sting of pain. Your face looks worse, by the way. We both burst out laughing, and we have to cover each other's mouths so as not to be discovered. As we sneak out of that horrible place where yet another couple is using the foster care system to act like God to helpless children, we're still laughing, hysterically. For both Violet and me, this is the first time in a long time, maybe ever, that we finally feel free, alive. Like we can do whatever we want without creepy foster parents breathing down our necks, using us as a venting outlet for their unremarkable lives. We stop by a bridge to catch our breaths. The snow trickles down, covering our shoulders and shoes, but I still spin around under the lamppost and scream into the silent night. We're free! Violet grabs my shoulders, looking as if she has a halo under the dim light and the falling snow. Dahlia. Yeah? From now on, we're each other's only family. You'll never leave me alone? She hugs me and whispers the word that gives me new hope. Never. Sitting up, I stare at Violet's face and hold her hand between my trembling ones. You said we were each other's only family. How could you leave me? Why didn't you tell me about the man who was threatening to kill you instead of writing about it in your journal? Actually, I might have an idea as to why. Violet has been soft-spoken and sort of a people-pleaser ever since I met her. She never raises her voice and finds it hard to say no to anyone who's in authority or who yells at her. However, she's always been a mama bear when it comes to me, quickly transforming into a vicious, protective girl if anyone hurts me or says anything negative about me. I don't doubt that she wanted to protect me from the man whose identity she probably uncovered. She'd rather die than have me implicated. The joke's on her, because I'd do the same. She gave up a lot for me, and it's my turn to pay her back. Vi used to say kids like us were always meant to be at the bottom of the food chain, a fringe of the system, a cog in the machine. Our lives, suffering, and trauma don't matter. No one cares. But that's where she's wrong. She matters more to me than the entire world. I want to tell her that I'm close, that I've infiltrated the organization where that scum is. I'll find him, and mark my words, I'll make him pay, even if it's the last thing I do. But I don't. In fact, I've never spoken to her about my plans so as not to agitate her. I only share good news and tell her I miss her. The nurse from earlier pushes the door open, the frown still etched on her face. "Did you find anything on the footage?" I ask, my blood pumping. "That's the thing. The cameras in the hallway and elevator have somehow been disabled."
9. Kane. "Callahan!" The coach's voice grinds the scrimmage to a halt. As usual, Jude has just flattened Price against the boards and skated away with the puck as if it's perfectly normal. Coach Slater is a veteran of the game, born and bred in the town and a proud product of Greystone University's unmatched hockey program. He's tall, lean, balding, and has a beer belly. Although he's strict, his understanding of team harmony and execution style is top-notch. He's known for pushing players beyond the limits they think exist. Not Jude, though. That motherfucker has no limits. Instead of helping Price up, Jude glares at him for daring to interrupt his flow. Coach stares at him from the bench, his skin turning red. "I told you not to touch my fucking players, Callahan. Save the destructive energy for the other teams." Jude lifts his shoulder in pure disdain. "I thought this was a scrimmage and we were supposed to play as if it's a real game. Did you miss the part about minimizing the risk of injury?" Minimizing is not eliminating. "Off the ice. Number 71, 5-minute major for boarding." "Come on, that was hardly a 2-minute penalty," Jude argues with a murderous face. "Off my rink now." Jude makes a face as he skates to the penalty box. "Great. Now I have to make do with 10 players. Sometimes Jude is just the most unreliable human I've ever come across. When his brain functions, he performs miracles. When he allows his impulses to take over, he's no different than an untamable wild horse. I stare at him as he sits down resembling a trapped animal. He's been strange lately. And by strange, I mean he's a hassle to maintain. Even my impeccable containment skills have been falling short. Something that hasn't happened in all the time I've known him, which is our entire lives. "Ready to be buried beneath ice, Davenport?" Preston, the captain and center of Team B, asks before the face-off in their offensive zone. "Your team is useless without a right winger." I keep my eyes on the puck. Preston might be the master of pushing buttons, but that's only because he makes it his mission to exploit his opponent's weaknesses. He's an expert at studying human nature and singling out the exact words that will rile the other person's feathers. He's gotten checked and thrown around more times than I can count, but he often comes out of it grinning in that slightly provocative manner, while Jude goes ballistic and starts a fight. It's been our dynamic from the time we were shipped off to boarding school. Someone picked on Preston because he was scrawny and weak-looking, and Jude dismantled them, sometimes while bringing me along. I preferred making their lives hell without lifting a finger, though. As we grew up, Preston lost the childhood weakness, but not the antagonistic behavior. It became 10 times worse. Too bad for him, though. I have no weaknesses he can exploit, so his methods have never worked on me. His words are merely white noise. I steal the puck from my team and tie the score. The coach shouts instructions at Preston's defense, sounding like he wants to strangle them. Despite my best attempts to minimize the damage, Team B's power play allows them an advantage I can't shake off. By the time Jude comes back, we barely manage to hold on to the tie. He body checks like a motherfucker and nearly gets another penalty for the reckless play. We end up winning, but the coach lectures us about being responsible on the ice before he lets us go shower. I have an idea for taking care of the Callahan problem, Preston whispers to me after I step out of the shower, a towel wrapped around my middle, and head to the locker side. Preston has already finished showering, changed into jeans, a white shirt, and a Viper's jacket, and is currently styling his golden hair back with a comb. Every strand is perfectly in place. I open my locker and drop my towel, then pull on my boxer briefs and sweatpants. We can't break his legs. Aww, but that will save us from his shenanigans. It's a no. Still not looking at him, I rummage through my duffel bag for a hoodie, then pull it over my head. Preston parks his back against the locker next to mine, his stare turning icy and his light mood shifts so fast, it's as if it were never there. He's the textbook definition of ASPD. He's been diagnosed with sociopathy, bipolar disorder, and a basket full of other mental issues. He's rumored to have killed his mother, a fact no one but himself can confirm or deny. Preston has the reputation of Prince Charming, a heartthrob with golden hair and bright green eyes. He loves girls and fucks anything in a skirt who's willing to choke on his cock. But Preston, like all of us, is an expert at maintaining an image. He may even be the best at it, because behind the heartthrob princeling personality hides a monster who loves to watch others suffer. While he rarely indulges in violence, he gets off on the sight of blood and the view of eyes going empty. Whenever we've had missions to eliminate potential Vincor enemies, I've taken them out with a silencer. Jude usually beats them to death, which is messy and unnecessary. Preston, however, makes sure to stretch it out for as long as possible with his knife. He also really despises those who ruin his plans and aspirations and becomes a fucking lunatic when things don't go his way. He's not impulsive like Jude, but he's deadly. I can sense the subtle change in his tone, even as he smiles. I will not have that piece of fucking shit sabotage my game against the Stanton Wolves. So if you won't do something about it, I will. Our game. What? It's not your game against the Wolves, it's our game. And you can dream on about winning without Callahan. He's known as the strongest right wing in the league for a reason. You talking about me? Jude strolls out of the showers with no towel, his scars and multiple striking tattoos on full display. He's never cared about what people think of him or the looks he gets from other team members. He just wears his bloody past like a badge. That's the difference between Jude and me. He displays everything that's happened to him. I don't. Armstrong suggested breaking your legs so you won't ruin our upcoming games, especially the one against the Wolves. I slam the locker shut. Time for my usual morning run before my first class starts. I'll knock your teeth out. Jude squares up to Preston. The latter laughs and pats his shoulder. Kidding. Just kidding, big guy. Better be. Touch me and you'll end up in a freak accident. Oh yeah? Preston grins wide. Want to bet your next game on it? No betting. I stare at Jude. Either you fix whatever is fucking with your head or I'll make sure you're benched for as many games as it takes. He glares at me, his jaw ticking, but I walk out before he has a chance to reply. I might have grown up with those two, but that doesn't mean there aren't skirmishes all the time, especially between Jude and Preston. One minute they're protecting each other, the next they want to kill one another. Since our families are the founders of the town, our clans have often been at each other's throats to become dominant. We've been taught not to trust each other and that the possibility of war is a matter of when, not if. We might be equals right now, but who knows what will transpire in the future? Who knows whether we'll be at each other's throat in a struggle for the top? Though it's impossible for us to seriously hurt each other, not after the pact we made after we were thrown into that nightmarish boarding school. It's the three of us against the world, not the other way around. But that's not my concern now. My priority is to win. Keep the team in one piece and control the fucking liability that is Jude and the ticking time bomb in the form of Preston. I trust he's smart enough to stay out of trouble, but for some reason I feel like he'll fuck up big at some point. So I have to clean up after them, as usual. I've always been rational, calm, dependable Kane. Nothing can rattle my cage or shake my foundation. My father made sure of that. Now I'm just a weapon at his and the organization's disposal, or at least that's what he believes. For the time being. Preston catches up to me, knocking his shoulder against mine from behind, then lowers his head to whisper, "How about we poison him?" "No. Only temporarily." "No. Hear me out. You know that new drug his family is developing? He'd make the perfect testing subject." "No." "Fine. Then let's kidnap him and ditch him on an island." "No." "Lock him up? He'll just smash the place and escape." "That's true. How about..." He abandons the thought and nudges me with an elbow. I lift my head and pause, my left index finger twitching against my thigh. Leaning against the wall by the entrance of the arena in tiny shorts and an oversized hoodie is the thorn in my fucking side. The rock in my goddamn shoe. "Well, hello again." Preston slides to her side, his charming grin on display. "Dallas, was it?"
Dahlia.
She answers, her attention remaining square on my face. Dahlia Thorne is of average height, with naturally tan skin and hazel eyes that look more brownish yellow than green in the dim light. Her brown hair is tied in a ponytail, highlighting her high cheekbones and round face. The shorts stretch and cling to her skin, showcasing her curves. Curves I haven't been able to erase from my mind since the night I marked and claimed her 3 days ago. Since then, she's been showing up at my morning practices like a fucking parasite. Always there. Same time, same determined expression. After the mental and physical torture, I thought she'd be broken a little, jaded a bit. Better yet, I believed she'd throw in the towel and run away. I would have even made an exception and allowed her to get away. But no, she's been wearing that expression like a badge. And she's been randomly texting me.
And now what? Hello? Don't tell me you tested positive for an STD. I hate to say it, but I kinda told you so. That was a joke. I didn't give you anything. So you kinda need some lessons in communication? OMG. Thanks for the box of chocolates after the brutal fucking. Oh, wait, you didn't send one. And they say romance is dead. This whole thing is anticlimactic. What happens after getting in? Are there, any secret meetings I should be aware of? Alrighty then. Guess I'll continue marveling at your spectacular communication skills.
I ignored all her blabbering, but that didn't stop her from appearing in person, like an incurable migraine. "Dallas, Dahlia, both have a D," Preston grins. "Speaking of dick, Kane's is not that impressive. Want a better experience? I have a full enjoyment guaranteed policy."
I'll think about it.
She says with a fake-ass smile, her attention still on me. "Think fast, limited spots available."
Maybe one day.
"You won't regret it. Easily, 5 out of 5.
I won't bet money on it.
"Ouch! You hit me where I give a fuck." He places a hand on his chest and feigns pain. "Now I have to defend my dick's untouchable honor. How about tonight?" I calmly walk between the two and jog away from the arena and in the direction of a hill.
Wait!
Her voice reaches me before I feel her frantic footsteps following me. I pick up speed until the trees start to blur in my peripheral vision.
Kane!
She screams, sounding out of breath.
Slow down, damn it!
I turn around and run backward. She's struggling to keep up, her limbs shaking and her face redder than the fall leaves scattered on the ground. "Why should I?" She heaves but doesn't stop.
Because I woke up this early to talk to you?
Not my problem.
I thought I was, since I'm under your care and all that.
Supervision.
What?
Under my supervision, not care. She slows to halt and bends, hands on her knees, but when she sees I'm still running backward on the hill, she groans and picks up speed.
Okay, so what do I do under your supervision?
Nothing. Disappearing would be a good start.
What the hell do you mean by nothing? Aren't you the one who's supposed to teach me the workings of Vencor?
I stop abruptly and she collides with me, her head bumping into my chest.
Ow!
She releases a moan of pain, her ragged breathing filling the quiet forest. Her soft curves mold to my hard muscles, and I get a flashback of her cunt stretching to accommodate me, tightening and milking my cock. No, I don't think with my dick, ever. I don't even use my dick to settle scores the way Preston does or to relieve aggression like Jude. It's only a weapon used to exert power, nothing more. And yet I say, if you're dying for another taste of my cock, all you have to do is drop to your knees. She jerks back, putting distance between us, but not before her spicy jasmine perfume fills my nostrils, like a damn fucking poison. I've been pricked by countless venomous snakes as part of my training, but none of them left a strong aftertaste like her scent. She crosses her arms, the hoodie stretching against her breast.
No thanks. I'd rather not go through the ordeal of fucking you ever again.
My index finger twitches, but I let my lips pull into a smile. Do you often squirt when overcoming ordeals, Dahlia? Her lips push forward and a fire erupts in her eyes, darkening like a reckoning. It's impressive that her feelings are written all over her face, but that's normal, I suppose.
I was faking it. You know, to pass the test.
You can fake an orgasm, yes, but you can't fake a squirt, or the way your cunt swallowed my cock, strangling and milking me. Admit it. You were disappointed I didn't fill up your hole with my cum, weren't you? The longer I speak, the redder her cheeks turn, and the more I want to push her, see her reaction, see how far I can edge her to the brink. And this isn't like me. At all. I couldn't give two fucks about people's emotions. If anything, I use them through those illogical, untrained, and destructive feelings.
You...
She points a finger at me. Yes.
You're a freaking machine.
Is that supposed to be an insult? A delicate frown appears between her brows.
Are you really a robot? Should we do a CAPTCHA verification?
A CAPTCHA what?
Oh my god, you are.
Her voice. It's feminine but not soft. And she doesn't speak in the cooing, fake-as-fuck tone some of the girls use, so I'll fuck them. She's in your face. Or mine, to be more accurate. Everything just spills out of her as if it's a goddamn fountain. And I'm starting to despise how freely she can act. The first thing I notice about her is becoming a vexation. Go back to school and stop following me. It's giving desperate. I turn around about to resume my run, but of course, the fucking nuisance who's been shredding my piece jumps in front of me.
Wait!
Change your mind. I'll let you suck my dick after the next game if I'm in the mood.
No thanks.
She swallows, fighting against a blush or rage, I can't tell.
I just want to know what's expected of me. What's the point of being a Vencor member if I'm kept in the dark?
You'll be contacted if something is needed of you, not the other way around. She pauses, and I can see the wheels in her brain working in overdrive. I like how she thinks before she talks. The time between thinking and speaking could be elongated, but it's a good trait. It's also how I knew she was plotting to infiltrate Vencor. I'm not entirely sure why, but that's why I put on the whole fucking show to have her initiate it. Best way to watch a potential hazard? Keep it under your thumb. Squash it if it wiggles around. No, I didn't need to fuck her, but it's still a power bargaining chip, and she didn't use her safe word, so it's game on. Everything is a game. She tucks a few flyaways behind her ear, and I follow the motion. How her lean fingers outstretch. Her nails aren't painted and are cut short, but they somehow look elegantly neat. Then she speaks again, trying and failing to sound detached.
How about meetings and stuff?
Stuff.
You know, whatever happens in said meetings.
Whatever happens in said meetings is not for trial members, unless you get invited by a senior.
Invite me then.
I step close to her, erasing the distance between us. My chest expands with her scent again, and I resist the urge to pluck the goddamn wildflower in her and crush it to pieces. There was a time when I liked beautiful things. Now I want them all ruined, trampled upon, reduced to dust. Dahlia glances up, her plump lips parting, the bottom one slightly fuller than the upper one. As I look down at her, a choppy breath spills out of her slightly parted mouth, and I notice a mole on the corner of her lip, tiny and barely there. And now I'm staring at her lip. I rip my gaze to her eyes, slightly wide, expectant even. What will I get in return?
What do you want?
Her low whisper sends an electric shot down my dick. Jesus fucking Christ. Despite my better judgment, I grab her chin with my thumb and forefinger, tilting her head back so that I'm invading those eyes. Preston has always said mine are unsettling, and I can tell she feels it as I stare her down for several long beats. If I say your body and soul, would you offer them? Her lips part again, the perfect opening if I want to thrust my cock down her throat, then decorate her face with my cum. Again.
Do I have a choice?
Her murmur is haunting, somewhat lifeless, and I hate the gradual disappearance of her fire, how she slowly withdraws into her shell. You always have a choice, Dahlia. The word is red. It offers you a way out of everything except for Vincor. That one, once you're in, you only leave in a casket, or if I deem you unworthy.
If...
She swallows thickly, her eyes searching mine despite the subtle fear lurking beneath the light yellow.
If I offer myself, will you protect me?
No. She flinches, her body turning stiff, and I should probably release her. I don't do that, though. Even as her heat mingles with mine, sending the wrong signals to my cock.
Why not?
I don't get emotionally attached to the people I fuck.
I don't either, so it's a win-win.
Liar. You've been trying to play it down and pretend that what happened that day is normal, but here's the thing. You're acting tough. I know you're uncomfortable. Your jaw is clenched, your body's tight, and you're usually dressed in a way that doesn't draw attention to your body. You're terrified that I'll fuck you and use you again. The idea makes you tremble, and that trembling turns me on. I rotate her pale face in my fingers. Your fight and suffering turn me on. It makes me hard. So Dahlia, disappear from my sight before I break you. I feel the exact moment that her survival instinct kicks in. The moment I release her, she steps back, the leaves crunching beneath her sneakers. She stumbles, her wide eyes never leaving my face, before she turns around and runs back the way she came. Dahlia is smart enough to sense danger. At least now she is. She should have seen it before she decided to approach the organization. Or me. Because even though I just let her go, it's only temporary so that I can keep myself under control. It's only a matter of time before I trap her again.
All right. And that has been today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. All that good stuff. I love you guys so much. I will see you on Sunday for another episode with me and Michael. That's going to be a good episode. I'll see you guys there. I love you all, and peace.